you're not a vanilla person, maybe that's not going to be for you. The flavoring, in terms of my first impressions of using it in a recipe, welcome back to the Anabolic Hub, where we make anabolic deliciousness. We're back inside my kitchen today, and we're doing another recipe review. We're diving back into the Coach Greg Doucette Ultimate Anabolic Cookbook 2.0, and we're taking a look at his latest recipe, his PEA-not Butter. This is supposed to be a replacement for regular peanut butter. It's definitely lower in calories, it's definitely higher in protein, but does it taste good enough to be a replacement? Greg's already done a video with Ali doing a blind taste test. It seemed by the end of that video that Ali actually enjoyed Coach Greg's PEA-not Butter to regular peanut butter. We're gonna do our own comparison here. We're gonna make it. We're gonna take it over to the taste test table and do our own taste test comparison. So with no further ado, let's get things started by having a look at the ingredients. Here we go. White kidney beans, harder than last time Whey protein vanilla peanut butter flavor, powdered peanut butter, FibrO IMO powder, unsweetened vanilla flavored cashew milk, sugar-free syrup, guar gum, the one ingredient to rule them all, salt. So just wanted to break in real quick here to remind you to smash the like button. Consider subscribing if you're not subscribed. I post videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, doing lots of original recipes, recipe reviews, perhaps even a vlog or two, full days of eating. If it's fitness related, we do it all. So if that's your kind of thing, definitely subscribe. And why don't you let me know in the comment section if I should turn this into a series. What other recipes in Coach Greg's book do you want to see made with his protein powder or any of his supplements? Let me know in the comment section and we'll see what we can do. If this one gets a lot of love, maybe I'll do another one. So let me know in the comment section. All right, back to the video. This is a Coach Greg recipe, so we know it's going to be super simple to put together. All we have to do is take all of our ingredients, drop them into a blender, do 2 blends, maybe 3, get it to the right consistency, and we're done. It's gonna be done in no time, should be ready in about 15 minutes if you do it on your own. So let's get things going here by starting off with our first ingredient, our kidney beans. And then of course the big part of the protein source is going to come from Coach Greg's protein powder. Of course it's peanut butter vanilla flavored, so it's probably going to work very well in something such as peanut butter. A couple things to note about this protein powder that I noticed right off the bat. I'm a little annoyed by the packaging. See this, I don't know if you can tell here, but these things come with a cover over, of course, to keep it sealed and fresh, which is great, but I get very annoyed by these things when it doesn't come completely off. It's just gonna bother me every time I go to use it. It doesn't say anything about the actual product itself and how it tastes or how it's gonna work in this recipe, but it's just something that's a little annoying. Another thing that I've noticed, and I know you're gonna start calling me Petty Roosevelt here in the comment section, but the scoop, I don't like the scoops when they got a short little handle on them. I prefer a little longer handle than this. If they could maybe be twice the size as this, I would prefer that. But again, I know, little petty. Anyway, let's get this protein powder into the blender. Wow, that protein powder is pretty well packed into the container. Took me a little while to get it to the gram, as you just saw, but nonetheless, it's all in there and on the money. And it's been a while since we used the powdered peanut butter. Very excited to have it back into a recipe here that we're taking a look at. Gonna be using our twisting method, of course, putting it in. And this next ingredient, I'm not exactly sure how we're supposed to use it. If we're following the cookbook, the way it's written, it just says to add in the IMO powder itself. It doesn't say to prepare it in any way. It does say how to prepare it for other recipes. So I'm not sure if this was rushed into the cookbook and that part wasn't included, or if we're just supposed to use this as the sweetener for the entire recipe. I'm gonna try to do it as written. So I'm not gonna put it together using any water. I'm just gonna put it in as if it was our 0-calorie sweetener, even though this is not 0 calories, but I digress. So I'm gonna be putting this in next. Next up was an ingredient that was harder to find than last time, our unsweetened vanilla cashew milk. Oh, wow, to the gram. That's impressive. I'm impressed with myself. Then we have our sugar-free syrup. Just enough left in the bottle for this recipe. And of course, we gotta add volume, so in goes the guar gum. And of course, the salt. That's all of our ingredients. Now we're gonna take it over to the base and blend it up. Okay, bye. Give it a scrape down. Although I have to say, it did seem to mix rather well, which is good. Not a whole lot to scrape down off the edges. Blend number 2. And let's see how we did. Okay, looks like it says in the book. It's lighter in color, it's glossy, and it's definitely thick. Let's scoop out a serving size and take it over to the taste test table. And we're back at the taste test table yet again to do another recipe review. This time we're looking at Coach Greg Doucette's PEA-not Butter, supposedly going to replace peanut butter with higher protein, lower calories. According to the macros, you could actually have a double serving of Coach Greg's version for the same amount of calories that are in a regular version of peanut butter, with, of course, a ton more protein, like ridiculous amounts of more protein. But does it taste good enough to be a peanut butter replacement? That's the question that we're trying to answer today. I figured no better way to try it out than, of course, with something that's not really going to add any flavor to it, but allow us to taste it with some crunch, some celery. Celery, peanut butter, who doesn't love that, right? Coach Greg rants about it all the time, about people saying, oh, I eat my vegetables, and then you dip it in the peanut butter, and then the low-calorie snack becomes a high-calorie snack. Well, apparently he's trying to change that here, so let's see if that is exactly what he's done. I have some of the regular Skippy natural creamy peanut butter here, and of course, the version we just made, Coach Greg's version with his supplements. So with no further ado, let's get into our taste test. We'll do it the same way Greg did with Ali, starting with his version. Of course, I know which one it is already. I can't blind taste test myself, so we're gonna do it this way. Picking up one of our pieces of celery, we're going to dunk it into the PEA-not Butter and give it a try. Yeah. That's good. It's very creamy. I would say definitely creamier than the creamy Skippy over here. Let me try some of the Skippy here. See if it's, I want to be biased. Yeah, I see the comparison that Ali did in the video where she said the Jif, I think they used Jif peanut butter, was a little oily. It definitely does taste a little oily, especially after you have Coach Greg's creamy version first. So you can totally see the difference in texture, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I never particularly enjoy having peanut butter and tasting the oil, especially if you take it off the top. It always seems a little more oily and not very peanut buttery. So normally I would get the Teddy's natural peanut butter that's, you almost have to stir it and then it mixes up. But I digress. That doesn't matter. Here, in terms of regular peanut butter, which is probably what most people are going to have anyway, this is a pretty good replacement here. Let me try it again. I'm gonna give it another go. It's definitely creamy. You can tell the celery goes right, I'll show you. See, the celery goes right through, and it is definitely creamy. As you can see there, it picks it right up. I don't wanna put too much on the celery stick because I don't wanna waste it all. Not on one piece of celery anyway. All right, here we go. Scrape a little bit off there. Second bite, best bite, let's find out. There is a distinct peanut butter flavor. That's for sure. Obviously, the protein powder that's peanut butter flavored, PB2 powder, also contributing to the peanut butteriness. In terms of volume, you can't beat this. Even at 50 grams, you can tell that there's a difference. I've taken essentially a bite from each. I've actually taken 2 bites from this one, and you can see that there is actually more in Coach Greg's version than there is in this. So definitely more of a compact amount of volume in regular peanut butter compared to Greg's. Obviously, our guar gum is helping out a lot with that, giving us more volume. Just like it does in protein ice cream, it's doing the same thing here, giving you a little bit more for the same amount weighed out, which is actually a great comparison to this because protein ice cream has more volume, more protein compared obviously to regular ice cream that's more condensed. So this is right in line with where you would want for an anabolic recipe to be. Of course, also, the protein is super high when we talk about that. There's also very low single-digit fat in Coach Greg's version. And in regular peanut butter, we know that the fat is through the roof. That's mostly where the calories are coming from in regular peanut butter. I think this one has 16 grams of fat in it. Yeah, 16 grams of fat here, and there's only 2 here. Big difference there in terms of where the calories are coming from, making it anabolic. Way more protein in this. This has 7 grams, okay, so not bad, but I can tell you there's double in this one here. Coach Greg's version has double the amount of protein, more volume, less fat. Obviously hitting all of our anabolic diet, circle diet necessities for any type of recipe. I'm gonna give it another go here. See if we can get anything else out of this. There's definitely a vanilla flavoring to it that adds a really nice flavor, I would say. But I like a lot of things vanilla. If you're not a vanilla person, maybe that's not gonna be for you. I think it works really well on the peanut butter. I haven't tried Coach Greg's whey protein powder as a drink. I haven't drank protein powder in years. This here, the flavoring in terms of my first impressions of using it in a recipe, works really well. I'd be curious to see how it bakes. As we know, whey does not bake well at all. Batters are soupy. Usually the end product is dry. So we'll have to see if we do any other recipes that require some baking, how well will it work there. For this recipe, it works really well. Definitely good flavoring from the protein powder. As we know, not only does the main protein source come from the protein powder, but a lot of the flavor that you get comes from whichever protein powder that you select. I think for this particular recipe, it's spot on, really good. You also get a lot when you make it as well. There's like, I think 10 servings that we made total. So you can make this great meal prep peanut butter for the entire week, probably a little bit longer depending on how often you have peanut butter. But when it's this good and this high in protein, it's probably gonna be a no-brainer to just maybe, heck, empty out a jar of regular peanut butter and throw Greg's in there and you got peanut butter for the entire who knows how long. With that amount of volume though, you might need 2 of these. I'd be curious to try this peanut butter with my peanut butter and banana French toast as well. I think it would work really well, add way more protein, and it's already loaded with protein. It's gonna add way more protein to that recipe, and I think it's gonna taste absolutely delicious. So definitely with some of that PEA-not Butter, I'm gonna be trying it on my French toast, using that recipe tomorrow morning. No doubt in my mind, gotta see how it works. I think it's gonna work really well. I can see the oil in this one and it's kind of repulsive. I'm gonna put it over here. So this recipe is definitely a go. In terms of how it compares to peanut butter, I'd say it's at least an 8.5 out of 10. Definitely something that's worth making. If you got Coach Greg's cookbook, I highly recommend you give this one a try. Buy some of his protein powder. It's gonna work great in this recipe. If you like anything peanut butter, this is gonna be a win for you, no doubt in my mind. If you have tried this, or if you have any reservations about trying it, let me know in the comment section down below. I'd love to have a boisterous discussion on this peanut butter replacement. Always curious what your thoughts are, so let's have that discussion now. But it's getting to be about that time. I gotta get up out of here, so I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Guys, I almost forgot. Buy his freaking cookbook, would you?